Today we're looking at the top 5 games of July that I personally will be playing, so stick around to the channel to see more. Without further ado, let's jump into it. First on the list we have Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. It's an RPG set in the Monster Hunter universe. I get a lot of Pokemon vibes from this game, from the art style to the hunting and raising of monsters, or as they call them, monsties, which seems to me like an amalgamation of the word bestie and monster. Someone in a corporate suit approved that. So it's a third-person game with turn-based rock, paper, scissors style combat. There is a moderate character customization, but don't expect too much. The majority of your time will be spent traveling on your monstie, and depending on your monster, it would allow you special abilities to traverse the environment like dashing, flying, or swimming. Eggs can be found in monster dens that appear randomly in the game as you explore. You can only take one egg out of a den, but as long as eggs remain in the nest, you can exchange the one you have for another. Another main game mechanic is what they call a rite of channeling, which is an interesting system, and it's basically a ritual that allows you to transfer a gene from one monstie to another. By doing this, you can make or awaken a new ability in the monstie receiving the gene, thereby creating your own original monster. During the ritual, you can choose which slot you will place the gene in. This gives you the opportunity to enhance your monsties by awakening new skills and abilities in interesting combinations. I like this system, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. The game will also feature 2 multiplayer aspects. One is the co-op mode, where you can complete expedition quests, as they're called, with friends or random people. And there are also versus battles, where you can play against other people, testing your mettle and pitting your monsters against each other. Looking forward to the game. It's coming out on July 9th. Next up we have Chernobyl Light, which is a first-person science fiction survival horror game with some RPG elements and an open world to explore. The devs have gone into a lot of detail, and they claim that the environment is an accurate 3D scanned recreation of the actual Chernobyl exclusion zone. They also claim that the decisions in the game will impact the world, but I remain skeptical until I play the actual game. We know how these promises have been broken in the past. The real RPG elements come into play when having to create a team that will assist you in the adventure. You will have to keep them alive by providing them food, medicine and weapons, and intelligence. The devs say that they are an integral part of surviving the game, and I'm looking forward to that aspect. They added a crafting system, which includes some elements of base building. You will be happy to know that there seems to be a variety of enemies which will range from humans equipped with firearms to what seems to be mutants, and there seems to be a paranormal element to the game as well. To be honest, from what I could see so far, some of the textures can be improved upon. But that said, I think what's going to sell this game is the atmosphere, the lighting. And if they can use those elements to tell the story and enhance the gameplay, we could have a great game on our hands. It releases on July 28th. Third on the list we have Black Skylands. The game is set in the cyberpunk genre and combines open world sandbox and top-down shooter elements as well as action-adventure. Combat takes place not only in the sky, on a vessel which seems to be some type of zeppelin or skyship. You'll be able to choose from a variety apparently of these ships to fit your playstyle, from small maneuverable boats to a heavy machine which has a high capacity cargo hold. When on land, you'll be able to use various firearms which can be upgraded and modified. You can build, expand and protect your aerial base by making it an impregnable flying fortress and repel intruders. The resources that you gather can be used to build facilities on board of these zeppelins or skyships. Some examples could be a workshop that lets you create useful upgrades for the airships and weapons. A factory processes resources that you collect in the environment, in the world, and a laboratory allows you to create powerful artifacts. The game will also allow you to capture territories by forming alliances and clear out land to expand the power of your faction. There is an open world element to explore and apparently full of secrets and loot, whatever that means. I'm looking forward to the game. It looks fast-paced action with a lot going on. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I am absolutely in love with the art style. Fourth on the list we have Tribes of Midgard. Inspired by Norse mythology, so I'm already sold, and the winner of the 2017 Ubisoft Indie Series, Tribes of Midgard is in development by Norsefell Games and published by Gearbox Publishing. In Tribes of Midgard, players will have to thrive in the wilderness and become a Viking legend in order to defend your village against enemy forces during Ragnarok. My understanding of Ragnarok is that it's the end of the world and events leading up to it. Set in the world full of dark creatures, hidden gods, and abundant materials to be uncovered, you can play together as a Viking clan living in a village that harbors the seed of Yggdrasil, a tree that holds the promise of everlasting life. Players will be able to explore the wilderness to craft new weapons and be prepared to protect the delicate tree of your village from the shadows that prey upon its power. All the while, giants stalk ever closer to your village, seeking to destroy Midgard and fulfill the prophecy of the Endworld. What this basically means is you have to gather resources and fortify your base or your village, because you can anticipate onslaughts from NPCs, giants, and you have to protect that village of yours. Now, the game features up to 10 players, co-op, which can form a tribe and thrive together as long as you can, which is interesting because if you can get a couple of mates together, it's going to be good fun. You can also explore Midgard, discover ancient relics, meet wandering merchants, and face treacherous enemy camps as you traverse the environment. There's a crafting system where you can craft legendary equipment. You use gathered materials to forge new equipment and reinforce your village. Like I said, you have to defend your home. At night, work together to stop the legions of hell from invading your village at nightfall. So you prepare in the daytime and you defend at night. Last and most certainly not least is The Ascent. The Ascent is a solo or co-op action shooter RPG set in a cyberpunk world. The game takes place in the Ascent Group Arcology, which is a self-contained corporate-run metropolis. You play as a worker enslaved by the company that owns you and everyone else in your district. The survival of your district is threatened after the shutdown of the Ascent Group. So what happens now? Rival corporations are trying to force appropriation, and crime syndicates are looking to boost their black market augmentation trade. So after the collapse of the Ascent Group, sort of things fall apart, and you need to make sure that your district survives. You must take up arms to stop them from seizing control and embark on a new mission to find out what started all this. From what I can see, that the devs were really trying to give the environment scale and verticality, although it's a top-down isometric shooter. I absolutely loathe games that feel empty and not lived in, and it seems as though the devs really nailed it from what I could see. Civilians run away when combat starts. There seems to be constant ships flying overhead, going about their business, and it all really works. And it works in concert to sell the idea that it is a living world. And I really like that. You'll be able to customize your character with what they call cyberware. These are sort of ultimate abilities, it seems. And it is proposed that there will be variety to suit all the different playstyles. You will also be able to allocate skill points as you level up and experiment with different augmentations. There is also a looting system, although I did not come across anything that mentions crafting. The combat seems fluid and you'll be able to use the environment in combat as cover. I don't think this is going to be a find cover and shoot game, seeing as enemies can flank you, forcing you to move and find different angles to cover. You can also aim either low or high, high for over the cover, or just to aim for their heads, which I suspect will be less accurate, but do more damage. There will also be a fair amount of rolling and dodging attacks from bosses. There is a loot system, and ranging from weapons and armor, and you can swap between two weapons on the fly depending on the situation and your playstyle. You can play it completely solo, or you can team up with 3 of your friends. The game releases on July 29th. And that's it, everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me in the comments, what are you playing? Did I miss any of the games that you might be playing? And stay tuned to this channel if you are interested in any of these games, because I will be covering them. I will be playing them. And I hope to see you in the next video, and have a good one.